This will only happen once in 90 million years. Scientists are concerned about this. What could this event be, and why does it only happen every 90 million years? All right, how are you, friends? Welcome to Arvin Polo Television. What would happen and what would you do if an earthquake, storms, floods, and a tsunami all happened at the same time? Most likely there's a big chance that it would be the end of our world. But without your knowledge, this could actually happen. But how? If Antarctica, the coldest part of the world, becomes green or turns into a forested place? Yes, you understood that right. Antarctica has been studied by scientists for hundreds of years, and there's only one thing they've proven. 90 million years ago, Antarctica was a fertile land full of life. So in this video, we'll find out how and why they said this. And we'll also discuss what would happen if all the ice in Antarctica melted. And most importantly, we'll also answer if it's still possible for Antarctica to return to being green. It's pretty mind-blowing. Our topic today is quite something, so let's get started. How did scientists say that Antarctica used to be green? In 2017, scientists used a drilling rig to collect soil samples from the deepest part of the Amundsen Sea in Antarctica. And the soil they collected there surprised the researchers. With the help of computer tomography, they discovered that there were samples of forest soil in the soil they collected from beneath Antarctica. They also found that there were samples of soil where flowers had grown, and even more surprisingly, there were traces of roots as well. And everything they found there was 90 million years old. So, 90 million years ago, Antarctica used to be green. It used to be inhabited by animals and covered with plants. In other words, it used to be full of trees and plants until the time came when a massive disaster struck here. That's why everything here was destroyed and all the inhabitants died. But did this really happen, and how did people come to say this? The evidence for this was discovered in 2015 when scientists found pieces of charcoal on James Ross Island in Antarctica. They examined it and used scanning electron microscopy so they could fully analyze the material. And that's when they discovered that this charcoal actually used to be conifers, a type of plant. On the other hand, 166 million years ago, when Antarctica separated from the supercontinent Gondwana, it became isolated and seemed to lose all life. It was like the place became cursed when it got separated from Gondwana, because there were already active volcanoes in Antarctica back then, and it was constantly being hit by meteorites. And because of this, the once forested area of Antarctica turned into grassland, and everything was burned by the meteorites. And all the creatures back then that couldn't dive into the water died. Now the question is, what creatures survived in Antarctica back then? When scientists conducted research on Seymour Island in Antarctica back in 2013, they discovered the remains of Mosasaurus there. These creatures lived between 66 to 82 million years ago. What's even more surprising is that their remains were not only found in Antarctica, but also in North and South America, Europe, Africa, and Western Asia. Scientists believe that these creatures hunted or ate fish, birds, and other large sea animals. Not only did they find Mosasaurus remains in the ice, but they also discovered an even older creature. What is this? In 2019, they found some fossils and they couldn't tell what creature it was. They put its remains together, but they still weren't sure if these were the fossils of Archosaurus. And for your information, Archosauria are relatives of crocodiles and dinosaurs. Now, in simple terms, there were many creatures living in Antarctica back then, but now only a few can live in Antarctica. Now, what happened to Antarctica? Just last year, they saw that a large part of the ice in Antarctica broke off. How big is the ice? It's as big as Los Angeles. And when it split, that's when the researchers followed it. They've placed an underwater camera here to observe the very bottom of the split area. And what they saw here were anemones, starfish, shellfish, wormfish, and even octopi. This is mysterious for scientists. Why, you ask? Because these creatures need sunlight to survive. But there's no sunlight under Antarctica. So how do they survive? The answer is they still don't know. And another surprising thing is they found some of the most essential things here. Dead animal particles have survived in Antarctica for 5,800 to 6,000 years. On the other hand, this picture is not photoshopped. This is alive right on the surface of Antarctica. Did you see it? Yes. When the ice melted, algae started to grow here. And the algae, according to researchers, come with tiny fungal spores and bacteria. That means it's preparing for a new habitat or a new home. So what will happen now? When the ice in Antarctica melts, it will return to its former green state. Especially now that the heat in our world is record-breaking, it's not impossible for this to happen. The outcome, if Antarctica becomes green again, is that it will bring a tremendous catastrophe to us. The water will rise by almost 200 feet, causing many islands to sink, including... This is the result. Almost all the islands will be submerged, and it doesn't end there. Because even more tragic things will happen once all the ice in Antarctica has melted.